Rebbe Nachman warned not to be over-stringent. He said, if only, alvai, that we can keep the code of Jewish law to the minimal requirement. Already that is an accomplishment. To keep Torah law to normal, not under minimum, but what's required, and not to be overly stringent. And he warns, what's the danger of becoming overly stringent? Is that if a person develops following stringent opinions, so then when life gets more difficult as he gets older, so because he took too much upon himself and he has to begin to cut from what he's doing, his commitments, the guilt feeling is so strong of now having to give up these items that he took upon himself out of stringency, that he's at risk to drop everything altogether, God forbid. He says a person sometimes is so stringent that because of the stringencies he will drop everything altogether. If only a Jew would just keep even what's a minimal requirement of Torah, Jewish law, that is already something great. And it's understood that people have this attitude, because normally when people are young and their blood is boiling, that's the expression, in their 20s and their 30s, so a person has energy and strength, and it's only understood that people want a maximum, especially people who've discovered the value and the importance of serving Hashem and putting all the energy and effort into that and all the strength. So it makes sense that a person is always going overboard to do things the best and even maximum and even above the maximum. Even above the maximum. But Rebbe Nachman warns, be careful. Because if now you get too adjusted in a strict life, so that when the push gets to shove and life becomes a bit more difficult, then because you've got adjusted to things which are above the requirement, when you begin to give them up, like we said earlier, the guilt feeling is so strong that a person begins to say it's all or nothing. If I have to give up all this, then I might as well drop everything, God forbid. Therefore, Rebbe Nachman warns, like what the Gemara teaches, keep one mitzvah, one item that you are very careful and strict and stringent in that one mitzvah. And even there, not to go overboard. To be normal, stringent, right? One item. And the rest of the Torah, be normal, be like everybody else. Follow the Torah, the code of Jewish law and what's required. And do the mitzvah with joy, with sincerity, with simplicity, with honesty. That's what counts. It's how you're doing what you're doing. What you're doing is important, for sure. We're not telling anyone, God forbid, to transgress. I'm keeping, if I know I'm within the parameters of Jewish law, and not under it, but sticking to it, what's normal, according to my strength, that's the word. I'm doing according to what I can do, and knowing when something is strict, when something is not, and managing with it with joy and simplicity and honesty, then you will make it, you can go on. But as a person, when he's young, and he's toses, he's bubbling. In other words, he has this flame and this energy to do and to do and to do. He has to be careful not to go overboard, not to be overstringent, just to look to fulfill the will of Hashem as is expressed in the code of Jewish law. That's the idea of Torah law, Jewish law, is that it reveals what Hashem wants of us, the will of Hashem. So again, Rebbe Nachman's words, if only a Jew would fulfill what's required of him, minimal, and not to look for overstringencies, because then he's preparing for himself, God forbid, a major pitfall in life.